Good morning to you.
Another by-election then. I mean, they're becoming very common now, aren't they?
Well, indeed. And I guess one of the questions that may well face the Conservative Party, one of many questions that may face the Conservative Party between now and the general election is, why is it that it seems rather a large proportion of their MPs have ended up falling foul of the rules of the House of Commons? This is not, Mr Bowen's case is now concluded. It's not the only one still going in progress. So, of course, in the end, maybe some of the MPs will be found not to have broken the rules. Anyway, is this a safe constituency? Well, answer Wellingborough normally would be, but given what's happened in other by-elections during the course of the autumn, not necessarily so. It requires an 18% swing for Labour to pick it up. That is rather more than the 15% swing that we're currently seeing in the opinion polls. But we also know from the polling data that support for the Conservatives is tending to fall more heavily in places where they're previously strong, like Wellingborough, and the swing required, not dissimilar to Mid-Bedfordshire, not dissimilar to Selby, both of which the Conservatives lost, and although it is a little safer than Tamworth, which, however, they also lost. So, in a sense, it will become a rather useful barometer, because if indeed there is any evidence of progress in the Conservative position, and it has to be said there isn't really any as yet in the opinion polls, but if there is, then this is perhaps a by-election that the Conservatives might just succeed in hanging on to, as opposed to being another one that they lose rather spectacularly.
Well, it's interesting because when they do lose by-elections and you speak to them the next day, well, first of all, they dismiss polls because they say they aren't elections, and they dismiss by-elections saying these are specific cases. But have by-elections and polls been telling the same story recently?
Yes, to be honest. No, I mean, we'll be frank here. There's variation in opinion polls. I can find you polls at the moment that suggest the Labour lead is only the order of 11 points, and others that suggest it's the order of 21 points. So there's variation in the polls, but they are all telling a story that says that basically the Conservatives are at the moment are heading for defeat in the general election. Individual spectacular results in by-elections, yes, we can dismiss, but shall we say we've already seen lightning strike more than twice in the same place. And, the last time we did see a government lose by-elections on this kind of scale with these kind of swings was the Parliament of 1992 to 1997, which did not end happily. Now, of course, history is not bound to repeat itself. Maybe the position of the Conservatives will improve, but the thing that's clearly overhanging the Conservatives is that, frankly, their opinion poll rating at the moment is 25%. That's pretty much what it was when Mr Sunak, within weeks of Mr Sunak becoming Prime Minister, they have spent 12 months trying to turn things around, and so far, literally, according to the polls at least, nothing has worked. And what we're looking for is, well, what are they going to come up with now that might be more successful? It sounds as though one of the things we've seen reports in the Sunday Times on Sunday that they're now thinking that perhaps they can make some progress by attacking Sir Keir Starmer. I guess what one might wish to remind them, although it's not something that the Labour Party will wish to remind them, is that Sir Keir is not actually that popular. If the foundations of the Labour Party's popularity rests on the enthusiasm with which the public were looking forward to a Sir Keir Starmer premiership, then the Labour Party will probably be much further ahead than they are.
Right.
Again, it's not clear to me that the latest tactic is necessarily, like all the other ones during the course of this autumn, are necessarily targeted at a target that is likely to yield.
Okay. John.